utility company did not show up, and it is 4:16. We called them at 9 a.m. So I have no choice but to yank this meter. Ask for forgiveness later. Hey everybody, Kyle here with Spicer Designs. Yeah. At least this thing's 4 feet high. Makes it easy to load. Welcome back to the channel. All right, I am loading up for a 4-hour trip. I'm heading back to the Dig Drive DIY compound tomorrow morning, leaving at 4 a.m. so I can get to Neil's house by 8 a.m. I didn't figure in a pee-pee poo-poo stop. Maybe 8:15, I don't know. Depends on if I bring a magazine or not. So the reason for this trip is to assist Neil with the installation of his new GENERAC generator. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago in a previous video when I actually went to Neil's house to look at his job with him. It should be pretty fun. Well, I think I have everything. I'm gonna go spend some time with the family tonight. I'll be leaving early tomorrow. I'll see you at Neil's house in about 3, 2, 1. All right, we just arrived at the Dig Drive DIY compound. Before I get started, there's one thing I gotta check.
How's it going, Cal?
Hold that thought, Neil. Okay, we're good to continue. All right, I'm here with Neil, and I gave him a list. He's already got everything all set up, laying out very nicely on the floor so we could see it. This is just beautiful for filming right here. Nice work, Neil.
Thank you.
We don't have a whole lot of time, so we're just gonna jump in and get started.
Yeah, there's a lot to do and a little time to do it.
All right, so what we have here is a GENERAC. This is a 24 kW, and this is gonna run Neil's entire property. Got the transfer switch. This is a 200 amp service entrance rated transfer switch. It will do, again, the whole home. He is gonna have propane hooked up to this thing. He already has a propane tank outside, and he's got all the fittings right there. Probably be tackling that tomorrow. All right, so the plan is to get this installed first. We're still waiting on AEP, which is his utility company. They have to come out and pull the meter. They don't like when the electrician does it. They get all fussy about that. So we're doing it the right way. So I'll start pulling some measurements on this, get the holes punched, get my nipples cut. That way when they shut power off, I can start ripping everything out and getting this thing installed.
Set that on the ledge somewhere.
Oh, perfect. All right, we're heading into the milk house. Neil and I are gonna have lunch there a little bit later, maybe even dinner. He said he was making me something nice. So this little space right here is enough for one person. Here is the meter. Here's a 200 amp disconnect. There's a junction box underneath where all of the power from the house and the 2 barns come in. They're all spliced. We're gonna be redoing this, replacing this with a transfer switch, and we'll be doing some rewiring in the meter. We also have to stub out of here through the stone outside with the conduit that heads over to the generator. So the meter is right inside that window. We're going to be trenching all the way across right over to the back corner of the barn, and the generator will be just around the corner. We got those Polaris lugs. Those things are pretty nice. I love these things. It just makes such a nice clean hole, you know. When you use the hole saw, it just kind of usually wallers them out a little bit, and the lock ring doesn't want to quite sit right. And all right, I got the transfer switch all set up and ready to go. Punched, nipples are all in. This is going to go into the meter can. This will go into that junction box with the splices, and this will go to the generator. This is 1.25 inches. We are just waiting on the utility company now to pull the cutout so we can get into that meter can and get this hooked up.
Hell.
is this. And this. And this. Come on, Neil. All right, we identified the feed that goes over to his shop. So now that it's identified, he's gonna finish trenching. There's really not much I could do to help him. The utility company did not show up, and it is 4:16. We called them at 9 a.m. So I have no choice but to yank this meter, ask for forgiveness later. We gotta get this transfer switch in.
Break it off the top of the stones, break it to your side. Wait.
Oh my gosh, he's actually doing manual labor, finally.
I know, it's something you never see on this channel.
He's always in a machine.
Pushing, I like to clean one side, and then if you put the pipe like in the corner, it naturally won't smash because it creates like a triangle effect. In a tornado, you're supposed to get into a safety triangles. If something falls down, you want to be to where it can fall and land against the wall. They teach that in school. For hurricanes, it's all safety triangle.
There's some really nice work done in this trench area right here.
This looks like primo work. Experienced shovel operator.
All right, quick little update. I was able to tunnel all the way through. You can see daylight. You might even be able to see Neil through there. That's about 4 foot of undercutting this little building. And then this conduit to the generator is going to come right here, turn, have a little bit of a kick underneath that floor joist, and it'll come up right into the transfer switch. So right now, I'm going to work on getting this PVC stubbed out of the building so we can start shooting it down this trench. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of hit it right here, cook it out. Probably getting some heat off that, aren't you? Yeah. That's why I hate using it with a torch, you know. Probably. Yeah, you know what? Make it the heat.
He's waiting for me to quit talking so he can work.
What?
I'll let you do your
Well,
thing
we gotta
first.
fight over this trench.
I want that.
Angry.
I don't know what I'm doing.
You want me to get it from this side?
No.
He really wants to get in the
That
back.
should be
though.
good right there.
He wants to get in the back though.
Yeah, I think we could.
I don't know how to dig with a shovel.
It would help if you get on the baby shovel. It does better.
Yeah. All right, it's day 2. We still have a lot to do. So we're still trying to get a hold of the utility company, but it's really not looking good at this point. Neil finally woke up. It's like 10 o'clock. He needed his beauty sleep, but he's getting everything graded out. Conduit is in, and he's going to be working on getting the propane tank set and the generator set while I'm working on the transfer switch. All right, Neil just made a run to go pick up some more wire. In the meantime, we're gonna get all of this generator wire rolled out and ready to go so we could get that pulled in. And I'm gonna get this conduit trimmed up and get the seal tight fitted into the generator so that entire raceway from the transfer switch to the generator is complete.
You should see the way some of these people install these things. They look like absolute dog crap.
That was quick. That was about 150 foot of string in maybe 3 seconds. We have power back on. I was able to get the meter yanked, get the transfer switch installed, installed a small little 100 amp sub panel instead of that disconnect that they had. This allows us to have a 100 amp main. And then we now fed the grain barn with a 60 amp breaker because the conductors for the grain barn were a lot smaller than all of the other 4-aught aluminum. So it really wasn't protected correctly. Now it is. And I remade all of the old splices in this distribution box here using these Polaris lugs. These things are really nice, really clean. All right, Neil and Trent did a great job installing the propane tank. That's all ready to go. They got their gas line in. Neil's working on getting that all terminated. And that stubs up right behind the generator, so we'll have to install another regulator back here. But right now we're getting ready to pull this cable in. We got the old man strength here, Neil's dad. He's gonna be doing all the pulling. And Neil's gonna find a reason to get in one of the machines.
I just woke up. Hold on. Kara said she's going to plan on picking up pizza, wings, and salad from hometown. Pizza all right? You like pizza?
Yeah.
Chicken wings?
Why does it smell good in this room all of a sudden?
Well, I left you a present.
What is that?
What?
Something smells very potent and... What the hell is it?
Huh?
It's in this little cubby hole.
No.
Oh, you know what it is? It's that freaking soap coming through the pipe.
Oh, nice. You can smell the soap. He wondered what the...
Oh, it's strong. Okay, you ready?
I'm going to fart in the tube, see if you can smell that. Hold on. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, it's going down.
Try to ring it up over your head like a big loop and then just let the weight of it rest down and I should be able to pull it from you.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said?
Yes.
Because it feels really hard to pull. I don't...
Got about 40 feet, yeah.
40 feet.
She's heading out.
Okay.
About 30 foot too much.
Yeah, it is about 30 foot too much, but...
There's 30 foot?
Yeah, it's clear out to the field.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, I am. There's about 10 feet.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna give you the rundown on how this transfer switch is set up. Now, this is not a how-to video. This is just for reference only. And this little sub panel, just forget about that. That's just for this particular setup here at Neil's house. Same with this little distribution box down here with the splices in it. So basically what we have is we have our incoming utility meter. Off the load side of that meter, we have 3-aught coming through into our transfer switch. That 3-aught is coming up. We have one landing on the neutral bar. The other two come over and land on the top side or the line side of our main breaker. This is our first means of disconnect. That is why there's that green jumper. This bonds our neutral and our ground. And then we have a separate ground going out to our little sub panel because it is a sub panel. It has its own ground bar. Out of the load side of the transfer switch, which is down here in the back, the load is going down that pipe and connecting to the house and the shop. So no matter what, whether it's utility source or generator source, that load will be fed from either one. So we just covered the utility source. Now we're adding the generator source. So the conduit that goes down right here underneath the milk house, the one that we trenched all the way across back to the generator. Right there we have number 3 copper coming in, and it lands right on these higher lugs up front for our secondary source, which is the generator. The neutral comes up, lands on the neutral bar, ground bar. We have our low voltage controls. That is for the actual control part of the whole system and the transfer switch. And then you have our voltage sensing lines, the N1, the N2, and the T1. Those are what sense voltage loss and tell the transfer switch to turn on. And what N1 and N2 also does is it supplies power to the battery charger in the generator and the oil heater, which I'll show you that in a second. That's kind of the gist of the transfer switch. Every house is different, every application is different, but as long as you know how the system works and you have some electrical knowledge, you can make it work. There's the old junk. Neil pretty well has that trench filled in, just has to dress it up. All right, on the generator, we've got that same conduit I showed you coming down out of the transfer switch, comes up right here, seal tights in. Now you have to have seal tight and a flex line for the gas because the unit does vibrate. You don't want a hard pipe to any kind of a motor or a generator, anything that could possibly vibrate and cause issues down the road. So we have our incoming source lines right here. Well, actually these are outgoing. You can see your 2 feeds right there, the red and black. That's your main power. Those land there. You got your little neutral bus, and then you have the ground right there in the back. And then all of our low voltage and our 240 volt control wiring. They're labeled the same on this end and on the transfer switch, so it's really easy to hook them up. Just to avoid buying a bunch of wire, we just bought 2 spools, one red, one black, and then we just labeled them with Brady tags. Makes it pretty easy. And then out of N1 and N2, which is kind of hard to see right there, we've got a little pigtail that comes out. 2 wires, it's 240 volt, runs through this mess, and it hooks up to the oil heater. This just helps keep the oil and the block warm in the cold winter months. They do also offer a battery heater, which is a little pad that goes underneath the battery, but I have not heard good things about them. They tend to cook the batteries, so we left that out. When you do lose power, this is what you're relying on. This battery is the only thing that can still source the control power and tell that transfer switch to transfer over. And that's really it. It's pretty basic. We're going to go ahead and do the startup here in a little bit. But right now, we're trying to work on this gas line. That is the last thing we have to do. Neil's got it all done on the tank. We just have to get it into the generator now. I'm ready. Moment of truth.
He's still going to try to drive home tonight. He's got a 4-hour drive.
Yeah. So we're going to start it in manual mode first. We'll let it run for like 5 minutes. It might take a couple of cranks because it's got to get the gas in the system.
Sure.
Yeah, and I did check the oil.
Yep. So we got oil.
We switched to LP. All right. Yeah, that's normal. It might take a couple of tries. I mean, we've had it go through all 3 tries and then had to, just because it's got to get gas in it. Yeah, I heard it a little bit. It needs to get. Yeah, I think it's still a little. It still needs a little bit more of a purge. It didn't get up to RPM. All right, so the generator runs. We had good voltage. Last thing we need to do is kill the main, make sure that it turns on and switches over power. You're ruining my video, Neil.
You do it. I got to get another battery real quick.
I'm just going to take all your footage and just All right, I'm shutting it off now. You're going to miss the shot. Would have been nice if you would have put a light back here for me. Working in the dark all day. These conditions, I'm telling you. I'm pretty happy with the way everything came out, though. We left it in better condition than when we started. Do you want to try to squeeze in here at all? All right,
Yep, he's going to kill the main.
Moment of truth here. Lights out. Trying to get my
We should hear the generator fire up. There it went.
It's got to get up to speed, and then once it sinks, it works.
Wow.
Neil, I'll be honest. I lied to you. I've never installed a generator in my life. I wasn't sure if it was going to work.
I could tell from the way you were doing everything that you had no idea what the hell you were doing.
Yeah, I hope I.
But you got lucky.
Yeah, I
'cause it
did.
worked.
Basically, once I turn the main back on and you get utility power back, what it'll do is it'll go into a countdown. All that's doing is just verifying that it wasn't just a quick, like, you know, sometimes it kind of cuts in and out. It wants to make sure that power is steady, and then it'll flip it back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Okay.
we'll turn that main back on. 5 minutes will go by. It'll click over, and then depending on how long it ran, it'll click the transfer switch back over to utility, and then the generator sometimes will run a cool down for like another 5 minutes, and then it'll shut itself down. So
Gotcha.
we'll verify all that right now. We should have our cameras look at each other. This is weird. We verified everything works. As much fun as I'm having here hanging out with Neil.
Oh, Susanna, don't cry for me. We had some good years, so let me be. The world goes on. I sang my song. I gave my own true love.
It is time for me to go home. I got a 4-hour drive ahead, and it is, what time is it on the
8:30.
8:30, so I'll be getting home probably 1:30.
I said you could sleep in the milk house.
Yeah. It is cozy. Is it continental breakfast?
Pop-Tarts.
There we go. All right. I am back in southern Indiana. It's actually been about a week since I was over at Neil's house to help him with his generator install. Pretty sure my neighbor's spreading turkey manure because it smells worse than shit. That stuff is disgusting. I'll have to write him a dirty letter. I mean, that didn't sound good. Anyways, I just wanted to say a couple things to close this video out. It was a very busy couple of days, so it was all I could do to move the cameras around to get the shots that I did. Even though I didn't capture it all on camera, we all had a really good time. I really enjoyed working with Neil, getting to know him a little bit better. I also really enjoyed working with Neil's dad, Jack. He was a huge help, great electrician. He's probably forgotten more than I will ever know. His brother Nate, also an electrician, great guy. And I got to meet Neil's wife, Kara, and his 2 daughters. Just a great family all around. Overall, that project turned out really nice. I wasn't able to see it all get completely finished as far as all the finished grade on the driveway and some of the other little bit of cleanup work that Neil still had to do. But as you're watching this video, I'll be watching his video that he posted, so I'll get to see it then. Or now. Whatever. So for all of my viewers that have not seen Neil's channel, Dig Drive DIY, I highly recommend you go check it out. For one, you could see his version of this video, but he has a very similar channel. A lot of variety. If you like the equipment, he's got a lot of it. If you like fabricating jobs, he does that as well. And his videography and editing style is on point. He's on a whole nother level when it comes to that. He produces a really great video all around. Now, anytime you're installing a whole house generator like that, it's not always going to be on new construction. Everything's not going to be 100% up to code when you start. Sometimes you just have to do the best with what you've got, and that is exactly what we did at Neil's house. Not that there was anything like totally out of line that we did. The idea is to leave it in a better position than when you got there, and that's exactly what we did there. We were able to clean up some of the wiring, fix some of the splices, protect some of the existing wiring the way it should be, and of course added the generator. Now for all of my regular viewers and a lot of my new viewers, I do have a lot of projects going on. We've got the Japanese mini dump. We're going to be finishing up the ultimate welding cart. I'm currently working on that right now. It's almost done. I've got the wood splitter project that I haven't started yet, but it is next on the list amongst a ton of home and property projects that I have going on. So if you're watching these videos and you came here for like the Japanese mini dump and then you see today's video, just know there's a lot of work involved in putting all these videos together, and they take time. So I have to have videos in between these projects so I can have content every Saturday, or today, Sunday. You're also going to notice a handful of power station videos coming up. Now, it is relatable to my electrical background. Some people may not be interested. I know the power station stuff is overdone, but to be completely transparent with you guys, those are just going to be extra videos posted during the week. It will not affect my weekend videos and all the project videos. And they pay well. Now, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I will not do a video on a product or promote something if I don't believe it's a good product myself. But at the end of the day, I have to pay the bills, and those videos pay. So if you see them, don't feel obligated to watch them. Don't let them shy you away from the channel. They're just filler videos. or extra videos during the week, and I appreciate you for understanding. Anyways, I'm gonna get inside before I vomit from that disgusting smell. Thank you to everyone for watching this video, and for all the new viewers that came over from Neil's channel. I greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. I always wonder what it looks like if someone's watching me. I'm like pointing at a little camera on a tripod. I probably look like a real idiot. Carpenter bees are back. Ah! Gotcha. That's right, you're not boring holes in my wood anymore. That didn't sound good. That's how it says to do it in the manual. Got the biggest IU fan right there.
Go Hoosiers.
She had to buy a whole new wardrobe when we moved down here. All IU. Hey everybody. Damn it.